Hello and welcome to New Mexico Rising. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week I try to bring you experts from all across the country to hang out with me right here in the Red Room to help you out at home and maybe other New Mexicans and fun, cool things for you to do. On this week's show, I learned a lot of medical terms I never thought I would ever say in my life because I've never heard of them before. And good thing I have experts here to help guide me through them and why it's important for us to know these terms. Plus, a little later, I got Sabré Cook, race car driver, and we also have Howard Makler, yes, CEO, here to talk to us a little bit right here on New Mexico Rising. Between long days staring at your computer screen and at the office and scrolling through social media, you know, all of that screen time could end up harming your eyes. And digital eye strain affects about 6 out of 10 American workers and increases the likelihood of experiencing dry eye symptoms such as blurry vision and irritation. Well, there's no cure for dry eye disease. Simplest solutions exist to give you a little bit of relief from dry eye symptoms. And today we have Dr. M. Periman, MD, or Laura M. Periman, MD, joining us from Seattle this morning to offer us some comfort and hopefully making our eyes see a little better and a little more comfortable. Welcome to the show, Dr. Periman. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for the invitation to be here. This is lovely.
All right. According to recent data, nearly about 44 million Americans suffer from dry eye symptoms. How can our lifestyle choices affect our eye and vision health?
That's a great question. And you're right. It's a super common problem. And there are some lifestyle contributors to dry eye disease. Some you have control over and some you don't. For example, age. Can't do much about that, right? But hormone changes, medications, contact lens wear, these are all things that can contribute to dry eye disease, including screen time, as you pointed out earlier. It turns out when you're staring at the computer, you have more evaporation of your tears. And the tear may not be stable enough to protect that precious cornea in between blinks. So blinking is important, but when you're staring, that blink frequency goes down significantly. So lowering your computer screen, so instead of looking straight ahead, just lower your screen just a little so you're looking slight down gaze. Get a desktop humidifier. Make sure you're well hydrated. Take breaks from the computer. Look in the distance, close your eyes, take some deep breaths, get back at it. You'll find that your productivity goes up as well as protecting your eyes.
All right, so what tips do you have for managing daily, dry eye symptoms?
Right, so I coach all my patients for what I call the 5 pillars of wellness, and that's make sure you're getting an adequate sleep, you're well hydrated. Nutrition really does matter. You can't be eating junk food and doing okay with your eyes. Mindfulness, like taking those breaks, that's mindfulness, and then daily exercise. That can be as simple as parking further away from the office. All those little things do add up to a healthier baseline. And then that we talked about, lowering the computer screen, and then there's some over-the-counter options that you can reach for to give you some additional relief from your dry eye symptoms.
All right, so you just told me, try to do everything that you're not doing, Dan, and fix your life for the better than everything you... It's like, everybody says I need to do those things, and I say, yeah, you need to do those things, Dan, and then guess what? I never do those things, so thanks for the reminder. I'm going to start working on it again. But
future Dan will thank current Dan.
Okay, I will try. Doctor's orders. All right, so you say there's so many, there's options over the counter to help you out, but there's so many eye drops on the shelf. How do people find the right ones that fit their needs the best?
That is a great question. And I'm an ophthalmologist, I'm a dry eye disease expert, and it's overwhelming, that section of the store. So let me help you make it a little easier for you. You'll want a product called Sustain Complete Preservative-Free Lubricant Eye Drops. And what makes this special is that it's preservative-free, but it also quickly hydrates that sensitive eye, and it can provide up to 8 hours of relief in clinical studies. It has this lipid layer to help slow down that evaporative load that we talked about when you're staring at the screen. So I would reach for that at your drugstore, and that'll help cut some of the noise and clutter of being overwhelmed in that section. So if you want to learn more about what makes this eye drop special, visit Systane.com. That's Systane.com. And I'll explain more about dry disease and what makes this formulation a complete solution or a complete way to address your dry eye symptoms.
Well, thank you, Dr. Periman, for joining me this morning and keeping my eyes nice and clear this morning. I see a bright future, I hope.
There you go.
You may not have heard about a rare disease called, okay, bear with me, myasthenia gravis. Hopefully I got that right. We'll ask the experts in a second. But it is a chronic it's a chronic autoantibody condition of the nervous system that affects muscle strength and makes everyday activities kind of challenging. And today we have Meridith O'Conner, who's a patient advocacy specialist and is living with the disease, and she's joining us to tell her story, along with leading expert Dr. Nicholas Silvestri. Welcome to the show, both of you. How are you guys?
Thanks so much for having us.
So what are the symptoms of myasthenia gravis, and how does it impact patients' quality of life?
Yeah, so the symptoms of myasthenia are muscle weakness, and the disease can affect really any muscle of the body. And so common symptoms include double vision, droopiness of the eyelids, problems with swallowing, talking, chewing, weakness of the muscles of the neck, arms, and legs. And as you can imagine, when people have symptoms that involve any or perhaps all of those muscles, the quality of life is significantly negatively impacted.
And Meridith, can you tell us about your journey with MG?
Yes, happy to. So I was actually diagnosed in 2005, so quite some time ago. But, during those years of being diagnosed, I was actually misdiagnosed for 2 years. And I experienced all those typical symptoms that you see with MG that Dr. Silvestri had mentioned. But thankfully now with the accurate diagnosis and just, great personalized treatments that I'm on, I've been able to manage my disease pretty effectively, but it took a lot to get here today.
So Dr. Silvestri, why is it important to build awareness and understanding around this disease?
Yes, so myasthenia gravis affects about 700,000 people in the world. And though rare, it's important for really a couple reasons. Number one, we want people that have symptoms suggestive of myasthenia to seek medical attention so they can get timely diagnoses and they can be treated so that they have less of an impact of the disease on their day-to-day lives. But secondly, about 20% of all people with myasthenia don't respond well to the currently available therapies. So there really is a need to continue to innovate and continue to develop effective treatments for this disorder.
And where can we go for more information to learn about this disease?
Sure. Well, there's multiple resources, but you can go to imaginemymg.com or the national organization's website at myasthenia.org.
All right. Well, thank you, too, for joining me this morning. One more time, where can we go for more information?
Sure, myasthenia.org and imaginemymg.com.
Dr. Silvestri and Meridith, thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we got some grilling secrets to kind of help you out for this grilling season. And a little later, race car driver Sabré Cook, all right here on New Mexico Rising. Just in time for National Grilling Month, we have Courtney Rada, host of Food Network's Carnivorous, here to serve up some fun food inspiration for getting ready to grill. Courtney is also a comedian that has been on a judge on the Food Network and Cooking Channel with shows like Beat Bobby Flay and Chopped Jr. Welcome to the show, Courtney Rada. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, so let's get right into it. It's grilling season. That's the good stuff. What is the recipe for some successful grilling this grilling season? I know that's a redundancy, but that's what I want to hear.
I got some success for grilling this grilling season, for sure. So I love grilling. I love meat. And on Carnivorous, we're always trying to show Food Network fans how to bring out the flavor in anything they might be cooking up this summer. Some tips that have always helped me out. Always start with a hot, fresh, clean grill. Make sure you're not moving food around too much or opening that lid up and closing it too much. Also, I use a meat thermometer just to ensure some proper cooking temperatures and factor in some time to let the meat rest after taking it right off the grill.
So what is a super secret for a backyard party?
Yes. Super secret ingredient, hear me out, peanuts and peanut butter. It is the perfect ingredient to take your side dishes up a notch like we did here with this Asian peanut slaw. Or on the grill, you can try a peanut butter burger. You can also use chicken breast if you'd like. Just slather that peanut butter right on the burger when it comes off the grill. Add some lettuce, some bacon, some fresh jalapeno. That nutty creaminess of that peanut butter mixed with the heat from the jalapenos and that bacon. It is a truly delicious bite. Also, dessert-wise, we got this saltine peanut brittle over here. Peanuts are always such a hit at parties, and I like incorporating them in dishes whenever I get the chance.
Peanuts on burgers, that just sounds nuts, but
I know, but if you try it, you're going to be like, this is what it's been missing my whole life. I promise you.
I trust you on that one. All right, recommend a tasty beverage.
Sure. So it's not grilling unless you got a beverage in hand. And there's a new flavor from Stella Rosa wines that I love. Stella Rosa pineapple and chili. It is the perfect balance of spicy and sweet. So you can enjoy a cool and refreshing drink with a little touch of heat. You can just enjoy it right over ice, or you can add some tequila for the ultimate spicy marg. It is, however you enjoy it though, it is sure to both cool down and heat up your backyard barbecue for sure.
So how about some must-have items for, the grill itself?
Yes. Okay, so I always like to make sure I have options, especially when I'm hosting big parties. And for this, my go-to is Sprouts Farmers Market for produce, for protein. I mean, they have, their meat and seafood department has all natural, never frozen, 100% Angus steaks that are pasture-raised with no added hormones or antibiotics. Their seafood is 100% responsibly sourced, and their chicken's just always fresh. So it's just nice to know that your ingredients are super fresh and top quality, which is a great base for whatever you decide to grill up.
All right, I'm loving all of this. So any other grilling inspirations that you can share with us?
I would just say, don't flip things around too much. Once you set something on the grill, really let it get those deep grill marks. That is the reason why you're grilling in the first place, to get a different depth of flavor. Don't just keep on flipping,
I got you. All right, so how does a comedian, maybe it's probably because you're a good comedian, become a judge and a host at a show called Carnivorous on the Food Network instead of hosting a dumb show called New Mexico Rising like me?
Oh my gosh, you got it.
I try.
You're great. You can host Carnivorous too. Let's do it together.
That would be great.
So I love doing stand-up and improv, and then I realized that what I liked more than just being on stage was just connecting with people and making them laugh. And so I've been really lucky to have meetings with some of the best farmers, ranchers, cooks, and home chefs, and chefs in general that all have a laugh, a story, and a recipe to share with me. Because, the cool thing is everybody eats, so that's a nice way to connect with everybody.
Yeah, people tend to eat food. That's one of those things.
This is a thing.
And we notice that. All right. Can you tell me, where can we go for more information, and how can we follow you on social media and keep up with you and your career and all that other good stuff?
Yeah, sure. You can find me on the social medias at Courtney Rada. And then for anything that we talked about today, you can, even the delicious recipes, you better try that peanut butter burger. It's tipsontv.com.
I'm definitely going to try the peanut butter burger. We're going to make that probably this weekend. That'd be great. So we'll do that. We'll do that today. All right. Thank you, Courtney. We'll soon talk to you once again right here. So thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Despite its name, liver disease does not only affect your liver. There are other physical and mental impacts too. All right. I'm going to try saying it. We'll see how it goes. This is the challenge of the morning. Hepatic encephalopathy and overt hepatic encephalopathy, did I get that right? Or known as HE or OHE, are conditions where the brain experiences dysfunction due to complications of chronic liver disease. And patients with liver cirrhosis and toxins from the gut can enter the bloodstream and reach the brain. where it may impact neurotransmission, ultimately causing OHE. And today we have patient Mark Bollinger, who is here to talk about his journey with OHE, and Dr. Nancy Reau, who will offer her clinical insights based on her experience managing patients with OHE. Welcome to the show, Dr. Reau and Mark. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Thank you.
Okay, how did I do?
You did great.
Really good.
Good. All right, good. Good. I was actually worried all morning to saying that correctly. Let's get about it. Well, Mark, can you share more about the beginning of your journey with OHE? What are some of the symptoms that made you want to speak to your doctor?
Yeah, absolutely, Dan. Firstly, I was diagnosed with cirrhosis due to NASH. That eventually led to hepatic encephalopathy and overt HE diagnosis. Some of the first symptoms I'd say were like confusion, disorientation, and like long sleeping periods, eventually to some more severe episodes where I became like extremely disrespectful and rude towards my mom. I'd eat things that I knew I wasn't supposed to be eating, and all the while I didn't know these things were even going on. It scared my mom so bad that she took me to the ER, which led to several more hospitalizations. And eventually, probably over a year from my original symptoms, did I actually get diagnosed with overt HE.
And Dr. Reau, can you provide us with a little more detail about the disease as a healthcare expert in this field?
Sure. So your liver has lots of jobs. One of them is removing toxins from the bloodstream. On top of that, when you've got cirrhosis, that changes the blood flow through the liver, so some of the blood actually bypasses the liver cells completely. Those toxins are in the blood and they head to the brain, and that contributes to what we would label as brain failure. And brain failure can have all kinds of different manifestations or presentations. So neurocognitive changes, motor changes that, like Mark described, personality changes, maybe stumbling, less stability, inability to do things that you previously thought were easy, like using your cell phone, taking a path in the neighborhood that is a very common path for you. So that sometimes our patients are found to, have more subtle things, and sometimes they're pretty obvious, like, getting lost in your own neighborhood trying to get home.
And what are some of the signs and symptoms to look for if you have cirrhosis or are a caregiver of someone living with cirrhosis?
I think the most important thing is early awareness. So making sure that as a patient, you know that if your caregiver tells you that you're acting a little bit differently or that your behaviors are different, that you don't feel like that's a criticism to you, but rather a nice time to have a conversation with your physician. We really would like to identify this at an earlier time point as opposed to having to go to the emergency room because you're so confused or you're in a coma. So it's really those subtle changes and that honest conversation between you and your family so that they're identified early and tested early.
So where can people go and learn more about HE or OHE?
You always want to talk to your doctor or a clinician about your symptoms, just to make sure you get the best and most appropriate information for you. But I like the resource understandinghe.com, has a lot of great information.
Well, Dr. Nancy Reau and Mark Bollinger, thank you two for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having us.
And coming up next, I got Sabré Cook, race car driver, to kind of show us the ways of her life, and a little bit from Howard Makler, yes, CEO, to teach you how to help out your small business. And that's all happening right here on New Mexico Rising. The 2023 Porsche Carrera Cup, North America Series, is one of the preeminent one-make racing series in the world. Drivers go head-to-head in the same car and compete at North America's most iconic motorsport venues. Sabré Cook is the first female driver to compete in this series and is making history as one half of the first female driver and female-owned team pairing to race in the Porsche Carrera Cup in North America. As a young trailblazer at the top of her game, Sabré has partnered with PenFed credit union to create awareness on driving toward financial success. And today we have Sabré here to talk about it. Welcome to the show, Sabré. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing good. All right, can you tell us what is the 2023 Porsche Carrera Cup North America Series? I know nothing about it. You got to fill me in.
So basically, the Porsche Carrera Cup North America is a one-make racing series, which means we all race in the very same 911 GT3 Cup cars. And there's about 42 per race weekend, and we all race in North America this year. We don't go outside the US this year, but sometimes we do go to Canada. So and there's classes that range from amateur all the way to professional, and that varies based off age and experience.
So why is this racing series significant to you?
It's significant to me because if anybody knows racing, the Carrera Cup series is incredibly close competition. It's one of the hardest series to compete in, and it makes for really great drivers that get picked up by factory teams to go race in IMSA and WEC later on. But also, it's pretty important for me this year because I'm the first female to race in the series. So very excited to break that barrier, and even more excited that more women will hopefully follow me in the coming years.
So what is the significance of partnering with PenFed Credit Union?
Well, PenFed is a pretty amazing partner of mine, and without their help, I wouldn't be able to do the full season this year. And they also provide lots of, advice, counseling on how to also be financially successful off the track, as well as propelling my racing goals forward on the track.
So can you tell us about how credit unions can help individuals navigate their financial journeys?
Yeah, absolutely. So I myself am a PenFed member. And so for a credit union, they're owned by the members. So they're able to give them better rates because they're not owned by shareholders like banks are. And PenFed is really great at providing, there's actually a learning center on penfed.org where you can learn about all the things that we weren't taught in school that we wish that we were. And for someone, especially in their 20s, I've found it super valuable to have the support and know that PenFed can help me with things like mortgages, refinancing my student loans, getting credit cards that help reward points for the day-to-day things like gas and groceries.
Okay, I got one thing. When they say break a leg in theater or I don't know, what do you say to race car drivers before they're going to race to kind of give them that luck or whatever without saying the GL words? I just want to know.
Without saying good luck, I guess a more fun way to say is go send it.
Go send it. All right, that sounds good. All right, where can we go for more information, Sabré?
So for more information about me, you can go to sabrecookracing.com. So it's SABRECOOK racing.com. And for PenFed, it's penfed.org.
All right. Sabré Cook, thanks for joining me this morning. What was it? Go get it? Go, I don't know, go kill it out on the
Go
racetrack.
send it.
Go send it. There it is. Sabré Cook, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thanks so much.
Despite being the foundation of America's economy, small to mid-sized businesses are constantly at risk, facing never-ending challenges that impact their work, time, and efforts. These bandwidth challenges often create a lack of awareness around government resources, despite said resource being available to them. Many business owners may not be aware they actually exist. This knowledge could be the difference between going under and some accelerated growth. Today we have Howard Makler, co-founder and CEO of Innovation Refunds, joining us live from Las Vegas with some advice to help out these small business owners today. Welcome to the show. How are you, buddy?
Good morning. Doing great. Thank you. Pleasure to be with you in Albuquerque.
All right. So the last few years have been tough on small to mid-sized businesses. What challenges do small business owners face in this current climate, and how can they address and overcome them?
What challenges don't they face right now? Being a small business owner is really a challenge right now, from inflation to material costs, availability, employee challenges. It just is an endless parade of problems being a business owner. Yet business owners are also the most optimistic group. They're the half glass is always half full kind of mentality in order to be a business owner. So today, my best advice to business owners is to tap into government programs, find out any advice, any government leg up that you can tap into. You should do it.
And there needs to be more education about available capital for small business. Why do you think awareness is so low, and what types of resources are available to them?
As an example, the government has programs like the Payroll Protection Program, the Employee Retention Credit, being able to tap into a payroll tax refund for businesses can be tremendously beneficial. So in your area alone, the average business that we help has been able to get $170,000 in revenue that they didn't count on through a refund available to them through the government.
And you've been an entrepreneur for about 30 years. What are your tips on helping business owners work on their businesses and just not in it?
Yeah, well, the most important thing really is to take time away from your day-to-day obligations to find out these high-value opportunities that you can tap into for your business. And so certainly I suggest businesses start by going to innovationrefunds.com. And that's a wonderful place to learn about these various government programs and incentives. We have tax attorneys that at our expense will help to determine if a business is eligible. So that's a great starting point, is Innovation Refunds.
So what is your top tip for somebody that's just starting or considering opening a small business?
Focus on your spreadsheet. If you're thinking about opening up a business, step one is to create a spreadsheet, outline all of the expenses and all of the revenue that you expect, and then seek somebody out who is in that business or related business and have them give you advice. You'll be shocked to find that a business owner will be willing to take their time and help to guide you, but you'll find out that they will.
And finally, where can business owners visit to learn more about government-issued refunds? And what does that process actually look like?
They can go to innovationrefunds.com. That's innovationrefunds.com. We keep the process simple and fairly painless. You upload some documents, and then from there, our team of tax attorneys at our expense will determine if a business is eligible.
Howard Makler, thanks for joining me this morning. And one more time with that website so we can check it out.
Innovationrefunds.com.
Thank you for joining me this morning.
Happy 4th of July from all of us at New Mexico Rising. Yeah, we know it was a week ago, but we just wanted to show you all this cool footage, so check it out. We shot at the top of Sandia Crest on 4th of July, so happy 4th of July still, I guess.
And that's it for the show, New Mexico Rising. I want to thank each and every one of you for being part of the program. If you want to email me, it's at newmexicorising@gmail.com. Send me a quick email. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, because we're going to start putting some discounts and deals from local small businesses and much more, such as giveaways. So follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And thank you for tuning in each and every week right here on New Mexico Rising.